Lacey. I'm 29. I currently live in Washington State, and I've been a knitter for about 10 years now. I apologize for the few of you who have subscribed and watched my first 2 episodes. First of all, thank you. I didn't even think I'd get 10 views, let alone I have 50 and 25 or something like that, but thank you for joining me and supporting me, and be sure to join my group on Ravelry. You can find it under the Knitted Cupcake podcast. You can find me as WOU Knitter on Ravelry and the.knitted.cupcake on Instagram. So, happy Halloween! I probably should have started with that, but oh well. I am Rosie the Riveter today, and I don't typically dress up for Halloween, but there were a few staff members that I work with that were going to dress up today, so I thought, hey, why not? I'll join them, and this is really easy to put together. So, yeah, Rosie. I apologize now. I recorded for I don't even know how long, and then realized I went to pause it and stop recording and check it out and make sure everything was kosher. And when I checked it out, I realized when I pressed the button thinking I was pausing it, I was just starting the recording. So I've done most of this once already, and yay, technology. Anyway, we will just jump into, smartwatches that you can get text messages on, slightly distracting. We'll just jump into my finished objects. It's been, I think, 3 weeks since my last podcast, which is not typically how long I would like to go, but life really got away from me this month, and I don't know what exactly happened. But here I am, end of October, podcasting. We're still at it, episode 3. Let's go. So, finished objects. I will start off with, now I have to find them. I, at one point, had 3 of these, or 2.5, I guess, maybe. And I'm down to 1. I have no idea where the first one went, but these are my Christmas balls from Arnie and Carlos. So this one I'm considering done. I need to make the little hanging loop, but that's so simple. This is considered a finished object to me. The yarn that I'm using for this is Knit Picks Palette, and the green is the Ivy, and I think the cream is just called Cream. And then I have a third color, which I'll show you on my mostly finished one. That is, I believe, Garnet Heather. But yeah, so this is pattern number 2, called Frost. Yes. And it has 2 different designs that repeats once, going around. And for me, anyway, I found these really enjoyable. I can do about 1 in an evening and then finish it off in the next day. They're just not super mindless. Okay, they're not mindless at all because you're following the chart, but I like them. I find them really enjoyable. So that is that one. And then this one is number 43, the Christmas Pig. And so this red is that Garnet Heather. And between my dear boyfriend and I, we have a little, he has a little kind of Christmas pig thing going on. And so I decided to knit him the Christmas pig out of the pattern book, and I added a little, I don't know how well you can see that, 2016 charm to the center of the heart. And then there is the reverse of it, just the same thing. Yeah, so I need to get him stuffed and ready to go, but I just haven't gotten around to that yet. So, and I had pattern number 1 done, but that's gone missing, so I'm down to 2. My next finished object is also eluded into whips. So I'm going to jump from this straight into whips. But this is the Baby Vertabrae, and this pattern is by Kelly Brooker, and I am knitting this out of the Elysian yarn from Cascade. The Elysian yarn from Cascade. And the colors are number 8 for the dark and number 9 for the light. And the Baby Vertabrae pattern comes in numerous sizes and 3 different weights, and I'm doing the newborn size. Look how cute it is in the worst weight. But to get gauge, I had to go down to a 6 for the body and a 4 for the edge. It is adorable. I mean, look at it. It's just so tiny. So tiny. So tiny. And the yarn, the Elysian yarn. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh no. I got attached to my watch. Is 60% superwash merino, 40% acrylic, so it's really soft yet really easy care. Ignore all of my ends, please. So yeah, this is finished object number 2, which then leads me into works in progress number 1. My friend is having twin girls, so I thought it'd be really fun to make a little matched set of these Baby Vertebraes, but in reverse color. So this is going to have the number 9 for the body, that light purple, and then I'm going to do the number 8, the darker purple, for the edging on it. And so they will not be super matchy-matchy, but they definitely go together. And it's just top down. I literally cast this on this morning just so I could have the 2 to show together. And I mean, it's a super, super, super quick knit and pretty simple. So that should be done in time for the baby shower. Well, for me to ship off to the baby shower since I can't go. Yeah. So that's whip number 1. Whip number 2, I think I talked about in my pre-process last episode. I think I showed the yarn and I hadn't started yet. But this is my Bandera. And this, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but the pattern has, I think, 6 different charts that go throughout this cowl. It's not a cowl, it's a little kerchiefy type mini, super mini shawlette type thing. And the charts are really cool, and it gradually just kind of decreases. So I am in chart number, they're lettered A, B, C, D. I'm in chart D, and I think it goes all the way to G. So that is my Bandera, and this is out of my Kinston Co. Chickadee in the, have it, Barolo color. And this is 100% American wool, so definitely a hand wash, sport weight, and I am doing this on, I have it written down, a US 6, which is a 3.7 millimeter, and I'm using my Knit Picks interchangeables, so little rainbow pretty wood. So yeah, that is been an easy knit night kind of group work. Anyway, so that's my Bandera. I'm back. I apologize. My camera records for 10 minutes and then decides to not record anymore, but it never tells me that it's done recording. So I just keep talking and going and on and on and on and don't realize what's happening. So I left off with my Bandera, and now we're going to go on to this guy, which I've now talked about 3 times, but I don't know when I did. Anyway, we're going to continue on. This is my A Certain Darkness shawl, and this pattern is by it's by Soft Sweater Knits, and it is a for purchase pattern on Ravelry, and it is an asymmetrical little shawl, not going to be little, that I am making out of Fiber Company in their Meadow base, and the color is Lady Slipper. which when I first saw this color online, it looked to have more rosy pink pops in it. And to me, this looked like a very muddied skein of yarn, which was not my favorite, but it was a color that I picked and had the shop owner order for me. So it's what I have. And thankfully, the more I knit with it, the more I don't see mud, but see a very pretty neutral mauve, which I don't have in any of my clothing, accessories, knitwear. I don't have mauve, so it's going to be a good addition. And this base is really cool because it is 40% wool, 25% llama, 20% silk, and 15% linen. So it's got some really good drape and feel to it now, but once I block it, that linen is going to just soften up and drape even more. So I'm quite excited about this. I'm excited to get it done, get it out to the shop, have it be on display for a while, and then I get it back. So hopefully I'll be able to wear it by next fall. So yeah, or maybe even this spring she'll let me wear it. So I need to get going on this so I can get it done. Each skein is quite hefty. It's 545 yards, and I'll probably use a skein and a half, roughly, to make it the size that I want it. Now, on to, oh, I didn't even talk about this last time I recorded. I've recorded this so many times, it isn't even funny. Either A, I need a new camera, B, I need to reset all my settings, or C, I just need to keep setting the timer so I can automatically cut it off before it cuts me off, so I know where it's left off. So in my Mrs. Brown's bag, which I still love, is a Sockhead hat. Sockhead hat. Say that 10 times fast. And this is a pattern that I have made once before and decided I didn't like it at the time for the person I was making it for, my boyfriend, before we were dating. But wanted to impress him and wanted to make something that was really awesome and really nice, and I just didn't feel like this, to me, looked a little too handmade. And when trying to impress a boy with your knitting skills, handmade is not what you're looking for. But I resent him a picture of this pattern, or sent him a picture of this pattern. And he said that he liked the slouch on it. He's a pretty slouchy hat guy. I'm not. So hopefully this works. I'm knitting this out of Manos del Uruguay in their, I want to say Allegra. That's my sister-in-law. Alegria. Yes, Alegria base. And it's got blacks and grays and some kind of taupey browny colors. It's really pretty variegated yarn, and in the skein looks much darker. I'm really hoping this light is not going to just totally kill me. But yeah, so much darker in the skein than it is in the hat, but I still love how it's coming out. It is so soft, so squishy, super brainless to work on, hence why it's been in my purse, because it's just easy to pull it at work when I have a couple minutes that I'm not working, yet need to still keep my eyes and brain active. My hands can still be working on that. So that is my Sockhead hat, and that is by Kelly McClure Boho Knits on Ravelry, and I believe it's a free pattern. So, next up, I've now talked about these. This is my third time. And every time I cringe because this is my disappointment whip. This is my Michelle Hunter knit-along whip that started the beginning of October and is now the last day of October. And I'm still on clue number 1. Yeah. This is the pattern Cableship by Michelle Hunter, knit-along that's been going on this month. And the yarn is Zauberball in the Oktoberfest colorway. And when I first started these, I was foolish and did not make a gauge swatch. Say it with me, people. Gauge swatches are important for fit. Gauge swatches are important for fit. I have to say this because I hate making a gauge swatch. And so when Michelle said, I typically make my socks on a US 1, and I had to size up to US 2 to get gauge, I went, great, I need to size up to a US 2 because I usually knit on a 1. Nope. Nope. US 2 was 1 stitch per inch not enough. So the gauge calls for 8 stitches per inch. I was only getting 7, which adds up quickly to a very large sock. So I had to go back down to a 1, rip it all out. I was still like, oh, about there. Rip it all out, and then had to get the courage to start back up again. And I'm glad I did, because I'm very happy with the color, I'm very happy with the pattern. I'm very excited to get these off my needles, but that won't be until November. So I think my November sock, bit of pre-process going on here, will be just a plain vanilla sock, so I can bust that out and then not have to worry about anything else except for just getting this beast of a cabled sock done. So, according to my timer, my camera's gonna shut off in about a minute. So, I'm gonna have a sip of tea, I'm gonna let that timer go off. Pause this segment and start a new segment. I'm back. So, hopefully, we can get this done, wrap this up. So, whips are done-ish. Now I'm onto my big whips that have been taking up most of my time, hence why I don't have so many finished objects. So, first off is, hi, Artemis. Put that over there, is my Optic Blanket. And this guy has grown. So, I think before I only had, I think I may have only been into square number 9. And so in 3 weeks, I've managed to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional squares. So I have 2 complete columns of this blanket, because it's going to go this way. It's 7 squares deep and 6 squares across. So you can't see this, but it hangs over my feet. Let's see if I can get that up there. So it's going to be quite a large blanket, which I'm okay with because it's going to be good for snuggling. And again, this is knit out of Knit Picks Swish DK in the color Lost Lake Heather, which is the green, and Dove Heather, which is kind of the light gray that runs throughout. So I'm quite happy with how this is coming along. It takes me a couple hours to get through a square. I'm not so quick with my purling. If it was straight up knit around and decrease as you go, I'd fly through it. But it's garter in the round, which means there's purling that I have to do. So it takes me a while to do a square. So if I can get one square done every couple days, I'm a happy little camper. So this is the Optic Blanket. So yeah, there it is in half, lengthwise. It's soft, it's squishy, it's gonna be machine washable. Perfect for a blanket. My next blanket, which I don't even know how I'm gonna show this because we're only so far away. This is my Building in Color blanket by Michelle Hun. And it is a beast, let me tell you. This sucker, I have all 10 panels sewn together. They've all been blocked. They've all been seamed. And I have one long edge border done. 3 more borders to go. Sew up those corners, weave in some ends, donezo. This is I mean seriously, lengthwise, This is, I think, at least a 6-foot couch. It's pretty big, and it covers the full length of that. This is going to cover the top of a full-size bed pretty easily, I think. And then again, here I am, up to my chin, and it covers my foot. So it's a really large blanket, but it's a very special blanket, and it's special to me, and I really think it's going to be special to my niece. Because she's 10 now, double digits, that's a big deal. And she is the reason why I started knitting, because I wanted to make her something when she was still a little nugget in the womb. So she deserves something like this, and then it's going to make her brother jealous, so he'll get one when he's 10. Thank God I have 4 years until that. So 3.5. But yeah, so this blanket is so cool, so warm, so toasty. That's why I can only work on it for so long, because it's so big and sits so heavy on my lap, and it's not quite cold enough to have some, unless I don't want any heat running at all. But I get so toasty working on it. So maybe I will work on and finish a short edge tonight. So goals, baby. So yeah, those are my 2 big projects that have taken most of my time in the last 3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, and I had a bit of cast-on-itis, if you couldn't tell. I think the only projects I carried over from the last episode, and are only carrying over because they're not done yet, and I have worked on them, every other project I just haven't worked on, but decided to cast on new ones. And it's taken everything within me to not cast on for a sweater. Because I want to wear a new sweater this year. But I've got other things that need done. Okay. Anyway. So that's my whips. Do have a bit of pre-process to do. I don't really have any fancy acquisitions. The yarn for my Christmas balls, that's new. But that's about it. Oh, the cascade for the Vertabrae, that's new too. I guess. So maybe I wasn't as good on my yarn diet as I thought I was. Yeah, so pre-process, it's getting to that time I'm really thinking about Christmas. Probably should have been thinking about Christmas a couple months ago. But I like knitting things for Christmas. I love being able to give somebody a hand knit gift and have them, and see kind of the shock on their face of, whoa, you made this? Maybe that's a bit self-indulgent, self-whatever, not indulgent, but self-absorbed maybe? But I like that feeling. I like people being shocked at the fact that they can look at something and go, oh my gosh, you made this? How cool. So making Christmas gifts is kind of what is in my pre-process, or the theme of the pre-process. The first thing that I've kind of started but then am ripping out because I don't like the fabric that it makes is a ribbed watch cap by Church Mouse, and that's going to be a patrol cap for my boyfriend, as he's a law enforcement officer and needs just a plain black cap for that, and I like being able to give him something knitted to wear rather than just store-bought. And so I started on the Isager 50/50 merino alpaca, and it is really a light fingering weight with zero puffiness, fullness to it, which means that there just wasn't any body to the yarn to fill in any gaps in that ribbing. And so I hold it up, and even without stretching it, I felt like I could see through the knitting, which I was not super happy with. So I ordered new yarn for him, and then I ordered some yarn for my dad to do. I haven't made a hat for my dad in a couple years, and I typically make them out of a worsted weight yarn, and so I thought something out of this weight would be a nice change for him. And so for the boyfriend, I ordered some Rowan Super Fine Merino in black, boring. And then for my dad, I ordered some Nuette Gems in marine blue. It's a pretty navy color. So I'm really hoping that those have some nice body to the yarn to make it so there isn't those gaps in the ribbing. Next up, I guess it's kind of a finished object, kind of a whip, is dryer balls. And this guy isn't felted yet. So I have and I didn't write down the pattern that I'm using for this, but it's on Ravelry, and I crocheted the exterior of it. Yeah, so it needs to get felted, and this is just out of Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. Super scratchy, but it's gonna make for some fantastic dryer balls. So I want to give people a set of 3, and I think I can get 3 out of one of these giant skeins. And then last up, as far as pre-processing goes, is just some dishcloths. I feel like those are just a really easy, useful gift to give to people, and I feel like people aren't worried about ruining dishcloths, and I want people to use things that I make them until they have holes in them. I want them to be that loved and that appreciated. So I need to order. I have some in my stack. Beeped at me this time, so I knew it was done. Where was I? Oh, I was talking about knitting some washcloths. So my favorite yarn to use for knitted washcloths is Knit Picks Dishy. I like it because it's a little finer weight than your standard sugar and cream, peaches and cream. So yeah, that's about it. So that's really about it for this episode. I apologize for all the jumpy cuts. I'm going to do my best when it comes to the editing. I feel like I learned a lot in editing the last episode of the things that I can do, and I know how to do things a little better now. So hopefully A, I can do it a little quicker, and B, it'll be a little smoother and a little better as far as where the camera cut off and I have to piece it together. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and again, please join my group on Ravelry, the Knitted Cupcake podcast, and add me as a friend. There's an Ask Me Anything thread. Let me know if you want show notes. I can start doing show notes. I do know it takes me a long time to edit these videos, and then if I don't have to do show notes, I'd rather not, because that cuts into knitting time. And I feel, and I don't want to say wasted, but I feel like I've sacrificed a long time, a lot of knitting time just for recording. So if you want them, I'll be happy to do them. Just let me know. Again, there's an Ask Me Anything thread. You can do it there. I'm hoping eventually, as we gain some more members and things get a little more active there, that we can start doing some knit-alongs and maybe some swaps and that kind of stuff. So yeah, thanks for joining me again, and happy Halloween once again, and happy knitting. Bye.